Well, I'm sure some of you woke up to some crazy news in Major League Baseball. Blake Snell has signed a 5-year, $182 million contract with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, I know we're a Mets podcast and I know we're a Mets channel over here on YouTube, but this has massive ramifications for the New York Mets 2025 season, 2026, 27, 28, 29. For the end of time, the Dodgers are going to be juggernauts. They won the World Series and they said, how about we get even better? How about we improve our pitching staff? How about we go and get one of the best pitchers in baseball when he is healthy and add him to this roster that's absolutely loaded? James, when you first saw the news, 5 years, 182, what did you think? Blake Snell, Dodgers.
Truthfully, first thing I thought, good for Blake Snell. Because Blake Snell had been grinding, trying to get the super contract for a few years now. No one would ever give it to him. No one would bite the bullet on it. And the Dodgers basically gave him Garrett Cole money over 5 years. Like, they paid him like he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. Like, he is one of the best pitchers in baseball. So, again, initial reaction was like, all right, good for Blake Snell. He got that bag. Next reaction is fuck. Because right now, this is Dodgers rotation. Is Blake Snell, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, and then whenever Shohei Ohtani pitches, possibly Roki Sasaki down the line.
Possibly Clayton Kershaw.
Possibly Clayton Kershaw if he comes back. Possibly Bobby Miller if he wakes up again. Then with Tony Gonsolin and Dustin May as the backups. We just named 9 starting pitchers, and that is fearsome, especially if they can all be healthy, even for a month together. It seems really, really hard to ever be able to beat this team in a 7-game series.
Yeah, if things go right, I mean, that rotation is disgusting. That's like an MLB The Show franchise rotation right there. Like, you don't get that on Major League Baseball teams with that kind of depth and that kind of talent.
That's an MLB The Show franchise rotation like 7 years down the line. Like, you can't even do that in the first 2 years. Like, you have to build up your team over year after year after year, make a bunch of trades, build up your farm system, kill it again. It's ridiculous. I guess the Dodgers, I don't even know what to say, like, learn their lesson, because last year they had 3 elite starting pitchers and basically all of them got hurt. They wound up having Yamamoto and Flaherty for the end of it, and they didn't even really need that much more help besides them, and I guess Walker Buehler. This does now officially jettison Walker Buehler. Now it makes a lot more sense as to why they didn't offer him the qualifying offer. Seems like these conversations with Blake Snell have definitely been happening for a while. Credit to the Dodgers and their people, because none of this leaked out for even a millisecond.
Nope.
But now they have a true all-star rotation where when they're at their peak, 4 number 1 starting pitchers. But I also think a part of me thinks that maybe this means that Shohei's return to pitching could be a little bit delayed. Don't you think that might be a little piece here, a little indication? I don't know.
Like, I thought about it for a second, and then I said, it doesn't matter. Like, I thought about it for
of course, it doesn't matter.
I thought about it for a quick second, and I was like, maybe Shohei's not ready, but also he probably is completely fine, because it's like the weird thing of, like, they needed another starter, but they also didn't, because we just named 8 guys prior to that. But, like, Glasnow is injury prone. He gets hurt every single year. Yoshinobu Yamamoto missed some time this year as well.
Also, he will be injury prone. The thing we talked about Yamamoto a lot in the past. Yes. Like, the one thing about him is, like, he probably will be injury prone. He's little.
Yeah, like they're going to need innings. So adding a guy like Blake Snell, it's just if he gives you 180, he wins the Cy Young, because that's what happens. This is also a spin zone. Now is Buehler more in play for the Mets? Because it felt like Buehler was maybe going to go back to the Dodgers, and Buehler's a guy that we talked about previously in some videos and episodes that we would like to bring to the Mets. Like, what we saw in the postseason was like, oh shit, there he is. Buehler's back.
I always told you, the second they didn't offer him the qualifying, I think there was no chance he was going back there. I didn't think this was the move they had ready to go. I just figured, like, oh, they weren't going to lock in $20 million to this rotation because it's very deep. I figured they would get a back-end filler guy. I think I predicted them to get Nate Eovaldi in our free agent prediction episode. Like, that'd be perfect for them. Someone they can count on for innings to be a playoff hoss. I did not think they would drop $35 million a year on Blake Snell. I think it's also interesting to think about the contract that Blake Snell signed with the Dodgers. Because while it's like the deal is reported is 5 years for $182 million, the Dodgers, of course, played around with it a little bit. They gave him a $52 million signing bonus up front and deferred about $60 million down the line. So that brings the CBT figure from $36.4 million down to about $32 million. So that's just another tiny little quirk the Dodgers are playing here to keep their money under the thing. And they went to the offseason, what was like $227 million until the last level of the tax. So this puts them at 270 now,
right around there. Yeah, they're getting close.
260. Bad math late at night, but that might take them out of Juan Soto. It might.
Hopefully. I mean, it's Mets. It's Mets.
It might.
It's Mets and Yankees. I mean,
and Red Sox.
If they get Juan Soto, there might be a mutiny amongst Major League Baseball fans, because even the conversation right now, I feel like online about Blake Snell signing there, people are like, "This is why baseball needs a salary cap. This is why baseball needs this." all these teams could defer contracts to Blake Snell if they wanted to. Like this is very pro owner. If anything, this is not a pro player move to take a deferred contract. Money's worth more now than it is later.
Totally.
The problem is Blake Snell clearly wanted to be a Los Angeles Dodger. Like you said, it was super quiet. There was not even a second of a rumor about this whatsoever. And apparently the Dodgers came in super late last year when Blake Snell was signing with the Giants.
Yeah.
And it seemed like Blake Snell did not want to make that mistake again. It was like, yeah, Dodgers, let's just get this going. It is funny how he's like the last guy to sign last year, and he's one of the first to sign this year.
I mean, I think he went through it now. He saw it. And again, he proved himself last year. The fact that the year started as such a catastrophe and everyone's like, oh, this is why you don't give Blake Snell a big contract. And then he shows up in July as the best pitcher in baseball from that point on. Like I told you guys a few episodes ago, like he did it. It's also interesting now for Blake Snell. He's just going to stay in the West Coast the rest of his career after being with Tampa.
I mean,
because he's going Padres, Giants, Dodgers. Like that's bizarre in and of itself.
Dude was homie hopping. He was like Dodgers. What was it you saw? What was the tweet that you saw?
This is the tweet of the night. Shout out Julian. I don't know how this tweet with 89 impressions made it onto my timeline, but at Propane Axe, Julian. If anyone here knows Julian, shout him out. This tweet made me cackle. I'd like to thank the Padres and Giants for giving Blake Snell short-term contracts that put him in position to be a free agent at 31 years old with the financial security to then let the Dodgers defer their payments to him. We couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, though.
True, it does suck, but that is kind of how that went down. It didn't seem like he was ever going to be a guy that the Buster Posey-led Giants wanted to bring back.
No.
I just figured that he would go to one of these teams more star for pitching after Corbin Burns. But credit to the Dodgers for jumping this market. While everyone's watching Corbin Burns and Juan Soto, they were like, fuck it, here's Blake Snell. Get him in here. I also want to tell you something. Congratulations, Mark. Because I type in Blake Snell on Google to find out where he's from. The first thing that comes up is Draftnik Mark.
Thank you. Love to hear that. That is why that video is eating at 1:30 in the morning. Because if you Google his name, you see my beautiful face. Love to hear that. All right, let me ask you about Corbin Burns now. Because to bring it back to the Mets here, what does this do for Corbin Burns' AAV? Because Blake Snell just got $36.4 million for 5 years. And granted, $36.4 million, every 5 years. For 5 years. That's what it came out to, theoretically.
Yes.
What does this do for Corbin Burns? Because that's kind of the number-ish that we thought Corbin Burns was going to be around, like that $34, $35 million a year. Does he have an argument to get more, or is it because of the years that it's going to be a little bit less? Because if you're running $36 million over 8 years, which is, I feel like what Corbin Burns, everyone's been saying, is like an 8-year contract, that's like $288 million, which is so much money.
I don't think this gave Corbin Burns more money, but I think it gave him more years. So like more total money, but not more AAV. I think that Blake Snell getting a 5th year, or again, maybe like the whole rest of the league was finding like, yeah, Blake Snell's super fucking good. But Blake Snell has done things that Corbin Burns never done.
Well, Corbin Burns has won a Cy Young.
The 2 Cy Youngs.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's fair. I mean, almost nobody has done that.
I know, it's 22 pitchers in history of baseball. But like Blake Snell, and we talked about this last week when we did like, let's find the Mets' next ace. What's the difference between these guys? And while Corbin Burns is like the safer option, who will probably give you more steady production over time, Blake Snell has a year-to-year spike that's going to be higher than anything Corbin Burns probably gives the rest of his career. And I think just the one caveat this is for Corbin Burns is now he might get a lower AAV than Blake Snell,
which
and then just
crazy.
Get more years, like $31 million a year for 8 years, $240 mil.
Scott Boras does it again, masterclass.
Is he Snell's agent?
No, yeah, he's Snell's agent.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
He's unbelievable. He's so good. And I hope
never stops.
Hope he's really good with Juan Soto and really just runs Uncle Steve dry. That'd be great.
Here's another question here. Just some would you rathers for Blake Snell for the next 5 years. Blake Snell or Garrett Cole?
Garrett Cole.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna still go Garrett Cole. He, after like that weird start to the year and the injury, he was pretty incredible the rest of the season. So I'm gonna go Garrett Cole.
Next 5 years, Blake Snell or Corbin Burns?
That's the tough one. That's the really hard one. Next 5 years.
Next 5 years.
Oh man, how? Okay, so fuck, because I bet you Corbin Burns throws more innings, but Blake Snell, like you said, has a higher peak. So what do we value?
That's what I'm telling you.
I think I'm gonna go Corbin Burns. I'm gonna play it safe here. I'm gonna go Corbin Burns.
Okay, now I'm just gonna start throwing some other pitchers out, see if we can get crazy. Next 5 years, Blake Snell or Zach Wheeler?
Zach Wheeler.
Okay, so we're putting. Let's see how far down we could push Blake Snell now.
Yeah, because here's the thing: like Zach Wheeler is going to give you 200 innings until he gets hurt. Like that's pretty. Like as long as he isn't hurt.
Well, so is Blake Snell. He just gets hurt easier.
He just gets hurt a lot, and I don't know. There's like never really been that huge like difference in Zach Wheeler. like his game is always just good. Blake Snell does have weird moments where he is healthy and stinks too.
Who are some other pitchers in their 30s I can would you rather right now? Okay, how about this one? Blake Snell for $35 million or Sean Manaea for $20 million?
Oh, boy. Wow. Blake Snell.
Yeah, I think that
Blake
one
Snell.
too.
Yeah, I think
that's probably where this deal affects the market the most. These mid-tier pitchers are like, all right, we're getting 4th years. Like now, Jack Flaherty's like, give me that. I definitely getting that 4th year. Sean Manaea can definitely go out in the market and say, I deserve that 4th year as well.
4 for 80.
Yeah, Kikuchi only got the 3, so I guess Manaea probably falls exactly between those 2 years. I wonder what this does for Flaherty. Flaherty's the weird guy out here right now.
Well, it's because nobody believes in him, I feel like.
Yeah, nobody believes in him, but also like he was good enough to warrant like what you would think is a 4 or 5 year deal. But then Snell only getting 5. Snell's just such a unicorn in the pitching market. He makes everything so strange for everybody else.
Blake Snell also, like, I wouldn't be surprised like if this is his last contract too. He's just like when he turns 37 or whatever he is, he's like, I'm good. I made like $200 million. I'm gonna go play video games and eat Slim Jims.
I think it's the opposite. I think Blake Snell is a dog. I think he loves to play baseball.
But I'm just like, I don't know. At that point, if he's willing to take the deferred money, that feels like to me, he's like, I keep getting paid to not play baseball. Not bad.
To me, I think that's him being like, I'm gonna go pitch on the Dodgers and like win some World Series and like affirm my legacy and not have to leave California.
How do the Mets beat the Dodgers? Let's wrap it up there. How do the Mets beat the Dodgers? Because right now they stomped us. They stomped us last year in the NLCS. So we gotta bring Pete back.
It starts with Juan Soto.
Well, yeah, it starts with Juan Soto. Gotta also have Pete. So Juan Soto, Pete, better offense automatically. Okay, got it. We've got the offense is better than it was last year. Not better than the Dodgers, but better than it was last year.
But we'll say this: if you have Juan Soto, Pete, Mark Viento, suddenly your defense is horrible.
Yeah, but it's
very bad.
But it's first base, and Juan Soto was nominated for a Gold Glove twice.
Okay, yeah, sure. But I think
zone.
I don't know. I'm starting to think there's more of a world where, especially now that one more pitcher came off the board, and we talked a little about the pitching market. We have bargain pitchers coming out Black Friday. We thought that was going to be the next episode. And this is the intro, I guess, technically for that now. Yeah, because Blake Snell signed on Thanksgiving Eve. But I think now, like, here's a would you rather for you. You sign Juan Soto, and you could have either one of Pete Alonso or Max Fried.
Oh, don't make me pick Max Fried.
I'm just saying, at that point, with the team composition, let's say Roki Sasaki goes to the Padres. Because we haven't, you would take Pete?
Yeah, give me Pete. But if you told me Peter Corbin Burns,
that's different. That's like I think that Pete and Max Fried wind up with similar contracts. Truthfully,
how
I think their contracts will be remarkably similar in terms of both AAV and total and years.
Give me Pete and Manaea, and bring me Walker Buehler too.
But that's not the same difference. It's a $5 million difference. That's nothing there. So now you're Mr. Bring the Band Back Together. Okay, I thought you were Mr. Harsh. Break it up. Get the best players we could get.
Well, I am, but you know me. I got a weird feeling about Max Fried.
Yeah, I get. I mean, Max Fried probably will tear his arm up eventually. Like he has had.
He's also not coming to the Mets. I don't think he's coming to the Mets.
I think he'll come wherever the money's green. Like, yes, Scott Boras has agent as well.
I guess
he's not going to the Dodgers anymore.
And I did think he was going to be a Dodger. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. I think he's good. I mean, he's a guy who could definitely be a Cub or a Red Sox for sure.
Yes, I think
he strikes me as guys to both of those teams. But
this like we're talking about the pitching market. This completely screws up the pitching market now too, because I think Blake Snell. A lot of teams I feel like probably thought they could be a little bit patient with, and that Blake Snell would be there when you look in a month. And now you're like, oh shit, Snell and Kikuchi are gone. 2 of the left-handed starters on the market. Like, where do we go next? Like, are we just going to start seeing free agent pitchers fly off the board, you think?
Those were also kind of like the sexy names. You know, those were like the kind of the hipster aces.
Yes.
Because like Blake Snell was like, okay, like he might not be as good as Burns, but any day he could be better than Burns. And Kikuchi was like, he could be on the 4th tier, but he really could be on the 3rd tier if you really gave him like a shot. Like now those guys are gone, and now it becomes a lot more like monotonous with these pitchers out there.
Yeah, if you ask Mike from Staten Island about these 2 guys, he'd be
like, fuck, they didn't want him.
Another one of those Japanese pitchers. I don't get why we like those guys so much. They don't do anything. And then with Blake Snell, be like, he can't go 6 innings. That guy can't go deep into the game. He's a reliever. Like, that's how you know they're good.
I got an elite contract from definitely a dude who either lives on Long Island, Staten Island, or Brooklyn or Queens. Or probably maybe South Jersey too. Just that whole amalgamation of people. In my mentions after I tweeted about Blake Snell, he said bad contract for LA, especially in all caps for 5 years. He's 32 and only goes 4 innings a night for 3 or 4 months a year.
Untrue.
I would give him 2 years of $60 million. That's where I'd be fine. 3 years at most. Hard pass with the little martini emoji. Classy.
Yeah, this is where you could have some fun on Twitter, because if you're up this late, you're an animal, And so you're going to really get some ridiculous takes. Like even in my comment section, I've seen people like the Snell 5 years pass. No, thank you. He's not a big game pitcher. I'm like, I mean, he won 2 Cy Youngs. I don't know what else you can ask for.
Literally. And I had this debate with my guy Sam DMs where he was like, it's Garrett Cole money. He's deserved Garrett Cole money. And that's why I gave you that would you rather, because I was like, I don't know. If you put a gun to my head, I think I'd rather take Blake Snell for the next 5 years over Garrett Cole.
It's good Yankee hate. I like that.
But it's just that, like Blake Snell had a lot of injuries, but it's not like, oh my God, injuries like his elbow's going to fall off and he has to get reconstructive surgery. He gets ticky-tack injuries. He gets hips and he gets lats and then he gets a little strain, a little soreness. Like I don't know. Not knock on wood, because God forbid something bad happens to Blake Snell. But I just think that he keeps getting injured, but it's always like bullshit injuries. I feel like because he just doesn't drink water or stretch.
He definitely doesn't do either of those two things.
I don't know. Like
so many Sour Patch Kids.
He's just such a funny dude. He's so funny looking. He's a funny acting. Like I think he's a horse. Like I really think that Blake Snell is amazing, and this is going to be the thing where the next 5 years of Blake Snell probably don't look a lot like the last 5, because the next 5 are going to be really fucking good.
This sucks, man. The Dodgers won the World Series and they got better. This isn't how it's supposed to go.
I know, but I mean, let's see if they bring back Teoscar, because right now they still have like 2 quadruple A players in their corner outfield spots. Like, don't tempt them.
I
mean, they're going to sign guys, but I'm saying this Dodgers team still has plenty of holes, and it's interesting that, because I think a little part of me thought that this is where Corbin Burns was going to wind up for the same reason, just because like California guy, LA could use just someone who's like steady at the top, but they zigged when I thought they were going to zag, and they just leaned into injury prone pitchers. Yeah. Like all of these guys are super injury prone, and it's just kind of like this year where they're like, if 2 of them are healthy at the end, we think we'll be okay. I think that's the whole plan.
Yeah, and one of those could be Shohei Ohtani.
I don't know, or it could be Tyler Glass now and Yamamoto, or it could be Snell. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like there's
super impressive that all the guys in the rotation you can make an argument for are the 10 best pitchers in baseball if healthy.
Yeah, totally. And even like the 4 guys that got major reconstructive surgery that they were calling for the minors this year, 3 of them got Tommy John. Emmett Sheehan, who got his Tommy John in May, he could come back by July. I guarantee you Emmett Sheehan starts 5 games this rotation, despite how good and deep it seems right now, because he's disgusting. River Ryan was elite when he came up.
Yep.
Gavin Stone, everything clicked, and he got surgery right before the playoffs. And Kyle Hurd has amazing minor league K-minus walk numbers, but he also got Tommy John surgery. Like, it's just, this kind of shows you what the best organizations do, where it's like, just it never, ever, ever get enough pitching. Just keep throwing shit at it until it sticks.
I want to be the Dodgers. Hopefully we'll turn into them.
One day. Starts with Juan Soto.
Starts with Juan Soto, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this episode. Appreciate you. Emergency episode. Follow us on all our social media at Mets'd. If you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Overcast, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. And subscribe to the Mets'd Podcast YouTube channel to see the video version of this. You can follow James on Twitter at
James_Shiano.
I'm Draftnik Mark with a C. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Bargain pitchers on Friday. See you next time.